Alrighty, I think we're live on YouTube. So, welcome in to those who are joining in. We're going to go over tomorrow's possible significant severe weather uh, event that will take place tomorrow. So, we're going to start with the outlooks and then work our way to the models and as well tropics too, because we do have a disturbance that has been designated from the National Hurricane Center for, you know, southern Texas, potential tropical cyclone 1. And yeah, so we're going to go over that later into the stream, but we're going to start off with the outlooks, I should say. So we're gonna get into the tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be very well the biggest day out of this severe weather sequence. So starting off with today, if the outlook can load, that would be nice. So yeah, here we go. Today we have two slight risks, a double barrel slight risk. One of them going for southern Michigan, northwest Ohio, and then central and northern Indiana. That slight risk there will be driven by tornadoes and damaging winds as well as hail, so basically an all hazards threat. And for the Iowa slight risk, we do have hail being the main concern as well, with some isolated damaging wind gusts being possible east of Des Moines, and a lot of marginal risks everywhere, basically. For the Mid-Atlantic, we got one there, as well as along the Gulf Coast, and one for northern Texas and northern Oklahoma, southern Kansas, northwest Arkansas, and southwest Missouri. All of these marginal risks are mainly for wind and hail. The only tornado threat that could honestly develop for today is along the Gulf Coast. That goes for New Orleans, Mobile, Dothan, Alabama, and Tallahassee. We could see a few isolated brief spin-up tornadoes, and that will be associated with our potential tropical cyclone 1 that has been trying to develop out here just barely off the coast of southern Texas. And that is possibly going to be a future tropical storm Arthur. Yes, our first tropical storm could develop here near Texas and work its way up towards Louisiana. And of course, we're going to go over that later into the stream. But tomorrow is going to be pretty big, I think, for the Midwest. A few days ago, if y'all do remember, I wasn't really alive for the major tornado outbreak. I think it was classified as that because we did have more than 50 tornado reports, in which I think that if you have a outbreak that has more than 50 tornado reports, I think it's safe to say that it would be classified as a major tornado outbreak. Now, we do have a moderate risk, a day 2 moderate risk for tomorrow. I'm just going to refresh and see if they changed the outlooks. And yeah, there you go. A new outlook has came out just 2 minutes ago. It's going to take a couple minutes for them to update the discussion and the new outlook, but it did come out. Just going to scroll down to the bottom here and click this outlook and see if they have updated everything from their discussion. Let's see. They did not. They have not updated yet. So we're just going to wait for the new update here come in for the latest day 2 moderate risk. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're going to go over the tomorrow's severe weather event. That will likely be pretty big for Illinois and as well as Indiana. So And then after that, we do have a day 3 slight risk, voice crack number 1. And then we have a day 5 slight or severe 15% day 5 risk. As you can see, looking at the live radar here on the NWS page or SPC page, whatever you want to call it, there is a lot of rain, a lot of tropical rain here for the southern states and including Dixie Alley as well. A lot of tropical moisture streaming in from this tropical cyclone, and as you can see, it's kind of spinning too. You can kind of see some spin to it. They're just barely off the coast. They're just south of Corpus Christi. So that is pretty, that's interesting. But let's see if they have updated. I really want to see. Yep, okay, they did update their discussion. So I don't know if there was any change, but we're just going to go over the latest outlook here that has just been issued literally like a couple minutes ago. Still a day 2, 15% SIG2 risk for tornadoes. And this is still going to be most likely tornado driven, if I have to imagine. Yeah, tornado driven. So this is a tornado driven moderate risk. 2.1 million people are in this moderate risk, and as far as the strong tornado risk, let's see if I can do the math. That is going to be over 21 million people are inside of this of a strong tornado risk. So anything, if you see like, you know, a SIG 1 or greater, that is indicating a chance that you guys could see a EF2 plus tornado, and for instance 5%, 10%, 15%. Those are the chances of you getting hit by a tornado at any 25 miles of any given point. So still a very low chance that you would get hit by a tornado, but nonetheless a threat that we have to monitor here. I do want to go over their discussion here. An outbreak of severe thunderstorms is expected across portions of Illinois, Indiana on Wednesday. Intense tornadoes, swaths of damaging wind gusts, oh my goodness, these voice cracks are killing me, to 80 miles per hour and hail to 2.5 inches in diameter are expected. That is some strong wording. Intense tornadoes, swaths of damaging gusts to 80 miles per hour, and hail to 2.5 inches in diameter are expected. That's pretty strong wording, if you ask me. If it was are possible, it would be a little bit strong wording, but if it says are expected, that's pretty strong wording, and that's probably like high-end, moderate, almost high-risk worthy wording there from their summary. A strong mid-level jet streak will overspread parts of the Midwest and lower Great Lakes on Wednesday. A deep surface low initially within the upper Midwest is forecast to evolve across the lower Great Lakes in southern Ontario and Quebec. A strong low-level jet will advect rich surface moisture ahead of a cold front through the period. A warm front, likely reinforced by morning convection, is expected to lift northward into parts of central and northern Illinois and northern Indiana and Ohio. Potent wind fields for this point in June will support a threat for scatter to numerous severe storms capable of all severe hazards, including strong to intense tornadoes, very large hail, and 75 plus mile per hour winds. Just based off of what I've read so far, I do feel like we could see an upgrade to the wind risk. It's all going to depend on if the storms grow upscale early, then you know, we could see a much greater wind risk. But if the storms or supercells stay more discrete or even semi-discrete, a higher tornado threat will be materialized with any supercells that either stay discrete or even semi-discrete. So yeah, a majority of the CAM models, as well as regional global guidance, suggest convection will be ongoing in parts of eastern Iowa early Wednesday morning. This activity will shift through northern and central Illinois into Indiana. Some risk for damaging winds will probably accompany this activity. The degree to which this cluster of convection can intensify through mid to late morning is not clear. However, the environment will eastward with it. My goodness, I'm stuttering like crazy. With eastward extent will begin drier and less unstable. The most probable outcome is that this convection shifts east-southeast relatively quickly and weakens with time. More substantial severe threat is expected to develop perhaps by early mid-afternoon and depend strongly upon how morning convection evolves spatially. I don't know if I said that word correctly, but it's all good. Given the strong moisture advection into the region, it is reasonable to expect an area of relatively rapid air mass recovery from the Quad Cities vicinity into parts of central Illinois. Storms that form in this environment near the surface low or warm front will likely be discrete and take advantage of strong low-level wind shear. Large to very large hail, significant wind gusts, and strong to intense tornadoes will all be possible. As convection continues eastward into Indiana, the low-level moisture will be improving with time. Along the cold front, scattered severe storms are expected to develop by mid to late afternoon, with mid-level height falls not being overly strong, and effective shear vectors have a large orthogonal component across the front. Storms will likely be supercellular for a few hours. Steep mid-level and low-level lapse rates will promote a risk of very large hail, as well as potentially 75 mile per winds or greater. Despite being west of the low-level jet core, low-level wind fields will still support a risk for tornadoes, some of which could be strong. What's up, Sinjay? Welcome to the stream. You pass me in your subs. That's good. Keep grinding, Sinjay. A potential tropical cyclone 1 is forecast to move northeastward with time. The marginally enhanced low-level wind fields will support weak supercell structures that may produce brief, weak tornadoes. Given the poor thermodynamic environment and the main timing of the threat being during the evening or overnight, the overall threat should remain marginal. And that right there is your discussion for tomorrow's outlook. Just gonna see. Yeah. So as you can see, we do have a SIG2 50% TOR risk stretching from western Illinois, going for Peoria, Springfield, and then going all the way up towards north of Indianapolis. So basically nearly the same identical areas that have been recently been under the other moderate risk for June 11th. So these same areas could get hit again by more significant severe storms. Now, taking a look at the HRRR, we got 16Z, but we're going to go to 12Z here. 12Z HRRR. I'm going to go to the Midwest. So for today, we do have a surface low that is spinning across Wisconsin, and that might spark a few storms that could honestly be tornadic and spin. We do have some vorticity out here, so if these storms do fire, we could see some spinning activity with these storms. And sometimes, if you got that enhanced vorticity, as well with that, as well with some storm relative felicity mixed in there. You could get a few brief tornadoes out here. Usually, with these kind of setups, these tornadoes are pretty weak in nature, but there is still a risk for a few tornadoes for today, which is hence we have a 5% tor risk for southern Michigan. So those storms are going to fire right around, give or take, 6 o'clock, 5, 6. And they could be capable of some damaging wind gusts, and as well as some a couple of tornadoes being possible with that threat. That moves out, and we're going to have storms fire early morning Wednesday. Nearly the same identical areas in which June 11th, the morning of, we had that morning convection. That's gonna, wipe out the warm sector for the morning at least. This is right around, let's say, 10, 11 o'clock. Those storms are going to move out. And then later in the day, around 1, 2, and 3 o'clock, we're going to have some storms. Some more significant storms move through the Chicago suburbs and Chicago metro area. Those storms could be capable, of... Actually, hold on. Let me take a look at the dew points. Yeah, okay. Just had to look there. Yeah, these storms could be capable of some damaging winds and as well as a couple of tornadoes. And as far as up here for southeastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, we do have a low pressure spinning here across Minnesota. And these storms over here near the low pressure are going to be storms that we also have to keep an eye on. Also known as a cold core setup, what Catman just mentioned. A couple of tornadoes being possible there, maybe an isolated strong tornado is also possible. But as we go to, let's say, 5, 6 o'clock, we're going to have, my goodness, this radar picture is insane, at least for reflectivity. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 supercells capable of strong tornadoes. In this environment, that is going to be a big issue. Look at this environment. Look at that environment, y'all. That is a potent environment. Basically a time-ticking bomb for these storms here. But there are still a few questions here. It's all going to depend on storm mode, and as well as if we could see air mass recovery quickly become more unstable out here for central Illinois. Just like June 11th, right? We had that morning convection roll through, late morning. That moved on out of here, early afternoon. And for a couple of hours, the environment quickly destabilized, and that gave way to more of a volatile environment. And hence why we had that significant tornado outbreak on June 11th. Very identical setups here. Here for tomorrow's threat in June 11th. So that is pretty crazy. Yeah, that's wow. Jeez. Let's take a look at Cape, because as you can see, right, if we go back to reflectivity here, we're going to go to Cape. You could see that morning convection basically wiping out the northern warm sector, or kind of all the warm sector, I should say. So there's that, right? Now we're going to go to Cape. There's no Cape because the warm sector cannot push farther north due to the morning convection, basically stabilizing the atmosphere. That will change with time. As you can see, it kind of pulls north ever so slightly, barely getting towards the Chicago suburbs here, And mind you, this is the 12Z HRRR. We can also take a look at some other models and see what they have. But that's gonna be insane. That's an insane picture, y'all. Like we're up to almost 40 supercell composite out here for Illinois and Indiana. Got blue supercell composite in June. Like in June, bro. Like this is what you would see in April. The peak timing, I would say, for the more significant tornado threat, I would probably say right around 4 o'clock to 8 or 9 o'clock, and after that, everything kind of congeals into a cluster or line, broken line, I should say. Still, a couple of tornadoes are still possible. Even going into the overnight hours, like around midnight, a couple of tornadoes are still possible for Indianapolis, and they're going all the way down to Louisville, too. Louisville, Kentucky, and then Columbus, Ohio. So, a very long day tomorrow. Still, a few questions are yet to be answered, but we're going to have to wait until tomorrow morning and see how widespread and how much of the warm sector is being eaten up from the morning convection. But still, even then, you could see the warm sector is just taken up here. But a few hours go by. There you go. That's pretty insane. We'll see what the HRRR has for 18Z. I don't really think it'll be that different. But we're going to take a look at the RAP model. The RAP model yesterday was insane. But we have the 15Z too, which goes out 51 hours. And yeah, as you can see, look at all that morning convection. Look at all that morning convection. But, I say but for a reason, that doesn't stop the warm sector from pulling more north later in the day. The air mass recovery on, so far, the models I've seen have been pretty crazy. Within a couple of hours, you get like 4,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based instability in Illinois. And a few hours prior, you could see morning convection. So, yeah. I don't know if the RAP has a bias on overconvection, but I guess it's just a low resolution reflectivity kind of picture here. So we don't exactly have a better look at if these are supercells or if these are just a squall line or what. But if we take a look at the environment here, still pretty dang crazy. Pretty crazy. And I'm tempted to take a sounding, but I'm kind of skeptical on that because it could be contaminated. If I do, yeah, I'm gonna pull one right here. Like dead central Illinois. What's up, Redbird? Welcome to the stream. We'll pull one further north too. Oh my goodness. Wow. Dude, your wind profile is out of this world. Look at that. 334 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. 2,500 instability. Yes, lapse rates are a little poor and low levels, but that's pretty crazy. Send one a temp dew point spread, which is very good. That's like almost perfect. A lot of moisture. Pretty good veering with height. No really good dry air intrusion, which tells me a very saturated moisture profile here. I'm seeing. Kind of see one here around the 700 millibar, but that probably won't really mitigate any tornado potential. When it comes to nowcasting for tomorrow, the one thing I'll be watching is, for one thing, storm mode, and also cell mergers too. We've been seeing a lot of that this year. Cell mergers kind of mitigating any tornado potential. Or deconstructive cell mergers. So very insane sounding I just pulled. Yeah, that wind profile is quite insane. What's up, Ohio? WX. What's up, Camp? I can't wait for meso analysis tomorrow. Yeah, but that is insane. 334 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. I do want to pull one further north, but I'm afraid I'm going to get a contaminated sounding, just simply due to the convection on reflectivity there. So we're going to see if we can pull one in the most prime environment possible, because I pulled one down here, and that wasn't even the prime environment. So we're going to go here, right? We're going to go here, dead central Illinois, just a little bit further north this time. And awaiting. Wow. This is a more impressive sounding. Not even that contaminated, really. It's not even all that contaminated. Dude, that photograph is quite insane, which tells me we have a lot of shear here. And the low levels, too. Yeah, look at this. 419 surface to 1 kilometer SRH. Take that with I almost said 7,000 cape, that would be insane. 2,751 surface cape. Jeez. A lot of veering too. Very saturated profile there, or moisture profile. I expect a couple of violent tornadoes tomorrow. I mean, it wouldn't have surprised me if the SBC gotten away with a SIG 3 tornado risk on this outlook here. They could have gotten away with that. Just know Twitter is going to be freaking out. So that's the only thing you gotta look into when it comes to that. So that's the wrap, the 15Z wrap. Still showing an insane environment. Do want to take a 0 to 1 kilometer. Oh my goodness. 0 to 1 kilometer SRH is quite widespread. Even when these storms fire, right, you're still going to be seeing like 300 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. So a lot of wind shear. And mind you, the 0 to 3 kilometer SRH, so this is basically a little bit higher up here. We have almost 1,000 0 to 3 kilometer SRH. That is quite an insane picture portrayed by the RAP model. What's up, TRG? Morning. So, let's see. This is a day you do not want to chase. Yeah, if you're planning to chase tomorrow, then I mean, listen. If I was living in central Illinois, I wouldn't be chasing. I would play it safe and just stay home. because tomorrow is the kind of day that could be pretty significant when it comes to the magnitude of the tornadoes we could see tomorrow. And if we take a look at Cape once again here, a lot of Cape. I do want to take a look at the NAM too. That's way too much here. At some point, your storms are going to get sheared off. At this point, with that much shear, yeah, your storms are going to get sheared off. But that's only if your storms aren't really materializing. But if we take a look at the NAM here, I actually do want to see if... So, okay, yeah, so there's your morning convection rolling through. I feel like this was a little bit more further north here compared to our other models. Still, morning convection wiping out the northern part of the warm sector. And as we get later into the day, we got basically, I can't tell what this is. It appears to be embedded supercells, but just based off of how low resolution the NAM is, I'd probably have to say those are supercells, like a line of supercells. Firing there right around, let me go back here, right around 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So if we take a look at the environment, yeah, pretty insane. Also, why is it further south? What the heck? Why is it cutting off so far south? Is it because of the convection in the morning from preventing any northern extent? Probably would have to imagine there. I have a very good feeling the wrap is overdoing shear. It's been overdoing shear for ever since it got into range for tomorrow's threat. NAM moment. Yep. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to reflectivity. Okay, that's your morning convection. So basically stops like right there. That's how far north your warm sector goes. Yeah. All of these scenarios are possible, but the NAM is kind of on its own, I feel like. HRRR, I feel like, has a better picture on this. But yeah, that's an insane picture for the HRRR 12Z. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 supercells here in this volatile environment. Do I think 8 supercells are going to be dropping large tornadoes? Or should I say, do I think we're going to see 8 different supercells drop 8 large tornadoes? That's more of a ceiling. But I feel like the HRRR is more of a worst case scenario. I don't feel like we're going to see that many intense tornadoes. What did the 6Z have? I'm curious. Yep, 6Z is still insane, if not even more insane. A lot of it looks more clustered, but even then, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, something like that I feel like is possible. All of this crap up here looks messy. Something like this could be possible. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. Wow, chat is saying heads up, I'm permanently banned on my main account for no reason, and I still can't talk in your chat after a good year. Okay. I know why I was banned, but it wasn't because of a light-hearted joke I made, and all of the mods just permanently banned me. Honestly, I don't even remember that. I can't even remember that. Definitely gonna need some nudgers. Yeah, similar to June 11th. Um, we need some constructive.
Sam, we can't find Molly.
What?
We can't find Molly.
Oh my goodness. Sorry about that, y'all. Anyways, sorry, Kevin, I can't unban you. Sam has to go in his channel settings to do that. Yeah, I might have to do that after stream. I wonder if I was here for that. But well, I don't even know what I was talking about. I got distracted. Yeah, we were talking about nudgers. Similar to June 11th, we had some constructive mergers as well as some deconstructive mergers. I think I remember what was the tornado that had that insane reflectivity debris wall? It was like near Peoria. Like it just formed out of nowhere. I don't even know if that was a cell merger. I just feel like, well, I mean, I guess it was because you had two updrafts and they all congealed into one updraft, and the updraft became much more stronger and much more mature, and therefore that was the result. We've seen a lot of that on June 11th. I'm curious, is that like a warm front? Like, is that a warm front? I think that's a warm front. It indeed is, I think. Yep. We've all seen this before. Warm fronts in Michigan. Molly is outside, by the way. Yep, it is. Yeah, we've all know what warm fronts can do. For instance, Kankakee, Union City, and yeah, those are the more memorable tornadoes. And then we had Enid, just basically formed off of different updrafts, and they all congealed into one and took advantage of that insane environment. And yeah, Enid was insane. And then we had some outbreak in April that I have mistaken as a super outbreak. I forgot what day that was. But that was a major tornado outbreak. We've seen like so many strong tornadoes that day in Wisconsin, Minnesota. But based off of, models, I honestly feel like tomorrow has the best chance to go high risk out of any other risk we've seen in the past this year. April 17th? Yeah, April 17th. What's the Okay, hold on, let me go back. 16Z. Okay, it won't go far enough for the morning convection. Okay. What about... Hold on, let's pull a few more soundings. I know it's the NAM, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. So we're gonna go basically 21Z for Wednesday. We're gonna go to reflectivity. We're gonna pull one. We're gonna pull one here, just a little south of the warm front. What the heck? I don't know how I feel about this. I will say pretty good wind profile there. Lapse rates are pretty good too. 71/84. You see, something like that would be leaning towards more of an elevated, more elevated storms there. I wonder if it's just because you don't see too much morning convection that far south. Let's pull in closer to the warm front. We'll pull in the most prime environment. Yikes. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dude. 360 surface to 1 kilometer SRH. That is insane. Also, almost 3,700 surface-based instability. 72/84, that's a little better, but, I mean, that's along the warm front, so... Your temps are a little too high. Just a little. Just a little. But even 12 is not that bad. A 12 spread there is not that bad. As you can see, your LCLs and LFCs are pretty dang close. They also look a little low, too. So maybe... hold on. Let's pull in later. Once the sun sets. Maybe... Let's pull one here. South of Kankakee. Well, your instability wanes a little bit. But your storms are already going to be mature and everything, so that's not really going to matter all that much. 461/01 kilometer SRH. Yeah, just a little bit of SRH. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Insane wind profile yet again. Lapse rates are pretty good too. A lot of shear. A lot of shear, but that's the NAM. I wonder if we can go back to 09Z, because the 12Z wrap model won't even go that far out. Or we can go on Pivotal Weather and pick some soundings on the HRRR, because we cannot do that on College Edu page. I'm curious to see how prime the environment was on the 09Z. Yeah, that's prime. Yeah, it's pretty volatile. It's pretty volatile. Simulate reflectivity. Dude, how is that even possible? You have morning convection taking up the warm sector, and all of a sudden, your environment just gets even more unstable. Like, how does that work? Like, that's not how that's supposed to work. Usually, when you have that convection basically taking up the warm sector, it stabilizes the atmosphere. But I guess the wrap has a bias on the convection, so or an over-convection, I should say. If we take a look at the, actually, we'll start off with the 500 millibar. I'm gonna zoom out. Well, I can't even zoom out all that much because it's a cam model. Or I can move to the GFS. Yes, I'm using the GFS for tomorrow. Don't flame me for this. The NAM shows the outflow boundary, and that's what holds. Wait, hold on. What? Actually, let's take a little NAM 3K. We'll go to 12Z, and yep, there we go. 12Z. Let's see. Okay. Wait a minute. Hmm. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, the NAM holds the warm sector more south. What did the 06Z NAM have? Basically the same thing. The NAM has been on a consistent trend. But is it enough to convince me? Well, the RAP and HRRR are more the worst case scenarios for tomorrow. Like, yeah, just 50 supercell composite just spitting out here in Illinois. Pretty insane there. Warm air advection, we are going to have a lot of it. Yeah, we'll go to pivotal weather. We're going to pivotal weather. Pivotal weather models. I do not have a saved or bookmarked tab, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Forecast loop. Yeah, computer is just doing its own thing there. The only other model a little closer to what the NAM says is the RRFSA. Actually, we'll take a look. Well, actually, we can go to Weatherfront to do that. Well, let's go to Weatherfront. Other, can't even spell y'all. Weatherfront. I didn't even download it. I just have it as a browser. Still kind of new to this, but I gotta be careful. I could just close some of these tabs because I don't even need them anymore. Okay, how do I do this? Model. Dude, this is pretty good. I like this. I don't think you can pull soundings on here, but we'll go to the RFSA. We'll go to, okay, that's 12Z. We're gonna go down to precipitation. Was it reflectivity? Yeah, I was just gonna say TRG. All of these soundings and just You know, everything else is, I don't need that. Oh, I didn't know that. See, I'm new to this. I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie to this. That's actually insane. So those storms are for today. Is the stream still bugging y'all? Hopefully it's not. Probably a little bit of an issue. Had to close some tabs. Might close the Storm Prediction Center tab too. So don't need that. And I could probably close College Edu page. So, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, so this is 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., morning convection, 10, 11, that's morning convection, 12, 1, 2. Okay, look at this. 3 o'clock. Storms begin to fire. Hopefully stream's not bugging. If it is, y'all let me know. Let's see. Okay. So storms fire around 2 to 3 o'clock. Right. Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness, massive supercell. Just west or east, excuse me, of Peoria. Peoria, excuse me. Where have we seen this before? More storms fire. Look at that. Around 6 to the number after 6. If I look at this, this is high risk, but that's just me, and I haven't even looked at the prime environment. I just looked at reflectivity. If you go to supercell composite, is there like, can I like, is there, okay, here we go. So this is like, hold on. Is there like a tool where you can use to like see how high the supercell composite is, or I've never really used Weatherfront before, so I'm kind of new. I really don't know how significant these colors are, but just based off of the key here, that's like up to 10. Winter convection going to kill a part of the risk, and too much shear will kill the rest. What's Cape looking like? Yeah, Cape is pretty high. I feel like the RRFSA is kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. It's the RRFSA, so whatever. Let's take a look at a few, well, actually, we'll probably look at some other model runs too. If we take a look at the, okay, we're gonna have to go back to convection allowing. We'll take soundings on HRRR. So this is 12Z, right? Okay. So peak environment is like around 5 o'clock. That's Cape. Precipitation. We'll pull one like, let's say, just east, or yeah, east of Peoria. We're going to pull one east of Peoria. Let's see what that shows. What? Brother. Okay, I think I must have pulled a odd sounding here. That's pretty insane. I did not expect that. It's like a warm nose. Hmm. You know what? Screw it. We're going supercell composite. I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Oh my goodness. Dude. The photograph. Taunting. Press I. Look at. Yeah, I know. Ah. Yes, I love keybinds. 26. Alright. I'm just doing this for fun, but in reality, kind of curious here. Let's see. My fault, y'all. My fault. 72 over 78. Pretty good. Yeah, yeah, don't really look at the SRH. Just almost 500 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. Just, and a little contaminated too, so, you know, it's whatever, but it's a 50% instant sleep, 30% instant wake. Y'all, I pressed I. I'm here. I got it. I got the message. The message came through. But that's an insane environment, y'all. For tomorrow. But do I think we will see a high risk? Let's say the odds are a. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna be a little aggressive here. I'm gonna give it a 60% chance it could go high risk. I see one thing that could really one issue that may not go high risk. It would be storm mode, and probably morning convection. Even then, with storm mode, you could get constructive mergers, and that would kind of help with tornado genesis. So the best weather program for models. Yeah, Weatherfront has really kind of impressed me here. I haven't really used it, but this is actually the first time I spent like 20 minutes just on Weatherfront. So, and they got like satellite 2, radar. They got a lot of tools. I might have to do like a tutorial for Weatherfront. I don't really have an account, but I'll make one here. I got one for Weatherwise. Just got to make one for Weatherfront. But yeah, tomorrow, here are my concluding thoughts for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I do feel like we could see a pretty significant tornado outbreak for tomorrow. Don't ask it, just update. What? Did they just update the day 2? It took them 45 minutes to update it. Are we serious? Am I tripping? I think I'm tripping. Are we serious, bro? Are you serious? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The map is just white now, which is kind of crazy. There we go. There we go. I don't know how much has changed with the outlook, because earlier in the stream I went over the discussion and it did update their discussion, so yeah. No, it's a third update. Oh, really? Hmm. Intense tornadoes, swaths of damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour, and hail up to 2.5 inches in diameter are expected. Wait. Man, oh man. If you tell me this is like this is pretty near a high risk wording here. Intense tornadoes expected. Yeah. Yeah, this is like kind of on the higher end, moderate side of things. Still tornado driven moderate. I don't know why it took them so long to update it. Yeah, they did. They just updated it. So I'm kind of curious, are we going to get like a new discussion, or is it just going to be the same discussion and they're just going to change the map a little bit, or the outlook? Whatever, but we'll come back to that here in a bit. But we'll switch things over to tropics here. We have our first designated area of from the National Hurricane Center. So we got our first tropical cyclone here. So this could become a tropical storm here in the next, I'd say, hold on, let's take a look at the cone. Corrected for tornado props. Yeah, it could be a tropical storm here tomorrow morning. Tropical storm watches are already been issued for Texas and the Louisiana coastline. So if this were to become a tropical storm, its name would be Arthur, Tropical Storm Arthur. And the flash flooding potential is pretty crazy. We have 4 days straight of moderate risk flooding, or moderate risk issued for flooding. So a pretty significant flooding event could unfold over the next few days for the Gulf Coast and the Dixie Alley from this tropical system. Now, it's been how many months now since I opened up this website? It's been like since November since I used Tropical Tidbits. So we're going to use it in this stream. We're going to use it in this stream, chat. Let's see. Let's go to... Actually, you know what I could do? Go to current storms. Take a look at this. They still have the low pressure designated over Texas, but they haven't updated that in a pretty long time. So, Discord, which I'll put in Discord. Which, shoot, I'll join that. Alright, thank you, Camp, for that. But here is the model intensity guidance for tropical or potential tropical storm 1. For some odd reason, it looks like one of the models wants it to become a hurricane. It's most likely not going to be a hurricane. Maybe a low-end tropical storm at best. some of the intensity model guidance plots here really show it not even becoming a tropical system, or a tropical storm, I should say. Here is the EPS tracks for this. You see, a lot of them don't even really move it to, or I can't even speak, my goodness. Some of them just stay on land, some of them just go offshore just a slight bit. But that's one of the ensembles. Here's the spaghetti tracks. And yeah, you can see most of them have it going offshore for a decent bit and then making landfall around Lake Charles. Almost back in the Gulf. And we got satellite on this. Let's go. Potential tropical cyclone 1. Okay. I have to give it time. Yeah, look at that convection blowing up there too. Yeah, we're not really going to see a whole lot of spinning activity here. Just a lot of convection blowing up here. Yeah, it's starting to move offshore now of Texas. So yeah. I do think we'll probably see well, here's the thing. It's all gonna depend on if the storms grow upscale. In which, if there's a scenario like that, I do think we could see an upgrade for future outlooks for wind. But if we see more of a more supercellular mode, I feel like the tornado threat will be maximized over Illinois, Indiana, in which that's what the SPC is saying here. But just gonna wait and see, and also 2% there for tomorrow for the Gulf Coast, for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, for the coastline, for a few supercells, mini supercells that could produce a few brief weak tornadoes. The weather front, go back south. Take a look at that on the HRRR, and yeah, we're on HRRR 12Z. We're going to go to precipitation, composite reflectivity. Yeah, and as you can see, few supercells, or a cluster of them, that could produce a few brief weak tornadoes down here in Louisiana. You can see it spin there too, look at that. Kind of. So this is tomorrow. Or, yeah, this is for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, you could see a few supercells there. Mini supercells, southern Louisiana. Later in the day, 6, 7, 8, 9. And early morning, around 5 a.m. A lot of heavy rain. Potentially some significant flooding could unfold for the Gulf Coast. So, yeah, it's going to get active here. I don't think I looked at the day 3 slight risk at all yet. And yeah, as you can see, we have a very large slight risk stretching from the northeast to the mid-Atlantic and all the way down to the southern Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley. Very large marginal going from Texas to the southeast in Dixie, going to the mid-Atlantic, northeast, and into Maine. So very large marginal, almost for 75 million people. And then day 5, we have another slight risk outlined for Kansas and Nebraska. So severe weather is still going to be possibility going into this weekend. Haven't really taken a look at that, but we're more so focused on tomorrow and then what happens on Thursday. And yeah, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna take it one day at a time here. But anyways, I feel like I went over a lot in this stream. I think I did. So tomorrow, we could see a big day, a very big day tomorrow for tornadoes. An outbreak is getting more increasingly likely, a tornado outbreak. And then as far as the magnitude of the, what we could see tomorrow, it's just really going to all depend on a few things. For one thing, if we see a good air mass recovery after that morning convection moves out, then we could be talking about a more significant tornado threat. However, if the morning convection lingers longer than expected, then the severe threat really could be pretty minimal. But I feel like that won't really happen, just based off of a lot of the models have been showing more of a significant tornado threat for Wednesday. So as you can see, we got the day 2 moderate. So just going to be more of a wait and see type ordeal. And then if we do see air mass recovery, really quickly become more unstable, we could see a few supercells fire out there in Illinois around 3 or 4 o'clock, make their way to eastern Illinois, and those supercells could indeed have a higher tornado threat with it. Storm mode and cell mergers are going to be another thing to keep in mind. And then also the warm front threat there too for Indiana and very southern Michigan. So, and then for tropics, here, got potential tropical cyclone 1 that could become a tropical storm here by tomorrow morning. It's just gonna depend on if it can get offshore of Texas and get into the waters of the Gulf. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Flooding is gonna be a pretty big issue, if anything. One of the main issues for the Southeast and Dixie and for the Gulf Coast. So a lot of weather, a lot of active weather is going to be taking place over the next 5 days. So tomorrow we'll see if I can go live. I'll probably, if I have time, I will go live for some severe weather coverage. It's just all going to depend on if I'm busy, if I'm free, or you know what. But I'll let y'all know tomorrow if I do go live. I will probably go live though. So today was just a briefing on tomorrow's threat and also the tropics. So if you guys really did enjoy this stream, you know, if you guys did enjoy the stream, then hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Also, turn on those notification bells so you do know when I post anything or even go live. I will update you guys tomorrow too as well. I got Twitter, so I'll make sure to update you guys too on that. But that's going to do it for me in this stream. We've been live for over an hour, 15 minutes. So thank you guys so much tuning in to the stream, watching it, or, you know, even listening to would really help a lot. I've been pretty inactive here on an inactive stretch, so I'm glad to be back here on the grind. So anyways, that's gonna do it for me, guys, in this stream. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next piece of content I put out there. Peace.